MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences.
Hi students, with this experiment we are determining the impact strength of the given material. Theory. Impact strength is the ability of material to withstand a sudden applied load, and it is expressed in terms of energy in joules. An impact test signifies toughness of material, which is the ability of a material to absorb energy during plastic deformation. Static tension tests of specimens do not always reveal the susceptibility of a metal to brittle fracture. This important factor is determined by impact test. Impact test measures the energy necessary to fracture a standard notch bar by applying an impulse load. Impact tests are classified as pendulum and drop weight test. Izod and Sharpie impact tests are two types of pendulum tests. Izod test is named after the English engineer Edwin Gilbert Izod, 1876 to 1946, who described it in his 1903 address to the British Association. This is a standardized high strain rate test which determines the amount of energy absorbed by a material during fracture. This absorbed energy is a measure of a given material's notch toughness. It is widely applied in industry since it is easy to conduct and results can be obtained quickly. Standard specimen details. According to ASTM A370, the standard specimen size for Izod impact test is 10 mm by 10 mm by 75 mm. The specimen should have notch of depth 2 mm and inscribed angle 45 degree as shown in the figure. Test is performed by keeping specimen as vertical cantilever beam as shown in the figure. This experimental setup consists of pointer, scale, striking hammer, brake, vice jaws, pendulum. To start the experiment, measure the length, breadth and depth under notch of specimen using vernier calipers. Fix the hammer in pendulum at 90 degree with respect to vertical post. Fix the pendulum in the holder such that the energy possessed by the hammer is 168 joules. Adjust the pointer on the outside scale to indicate 168 joules and take initial reading as 168 joules. Release the pendulum by operating the lever so as to swing and strike the specimen. Note the pointer reading on scale, take it as final reading. Repeat the same procedure for different samples. Do the necessary calculations to find impact strength of materials. Observations and calculations. Length of the specimen L is equal to 75 mm. Breadth of the specimen B is equal to 10 mm. Depth of the specimen under notch D, that is 8 mm. Effective cross-section area of specimen A is equal to 10 into 8, that is equal to 80 mm square. Initial scale reading, that is initial energy, is equal to 168 joules. Final scale reading, that is residual energy, which is equal to 14 joules. Energy absorbed by specimen, that is equal to 154 joules. Impact strength, that is equal to absorbed energy by effective cross-sectional area, which is equal to 154 by 80, that is equal to 1.925 joules per mm square. Repeat the experiment for different materials to find its impact strength.
Hello friends, today I am doing Izod impact test on the mild steel. Through this impact test we can measure the toughness of the material. Here The energy absorbed by the notched specimen during failure that gives the measure of toughness of the mild steel. This impact testing machine, it consists of following parts. This is to support the pendulum. For this Izod test, this pendulum holder, it has to be fixed at 90 degree with respect to vertical support. Pendulum tube, hammer, for the Izod test, hammer has to be attached with striker of flat edged dial. This dial, it consists of two scale. This inner scale is for the Izod test and this outer scale is for the Charpy test. Here the least count of these two scale is 2 joules. Pointer, this is the pointer to take the readings and this one is the pointer carrier. Specimen holder, this is the specimen holder. Here for the Izod test, we need to fix the specimen into this holder. Then brake. This arrangement is provided to stop the movement of pendulum. To find the impact strength of the mild steel, take a specimen which is having cross section dimension 10 mm by 10 mm and of length 75 mm. In that, you need to make a V-notch of depth 2 mm. To start the test, first we need to keep this specimen in the specimen holder. We need to keep the specimen in the specimen holder. For the Izod test, we need to place the specimen in such a way that this notch, it should face the striker and then the bottom edge of this notch, it has to come exactly over this surface. So to keep it in such a way, we can make use of this wedge and then tighten this screw. After placing of the specimen, here to keep the pointer at 168 joules. After placing the pointer at 168 joules, enter the initial reading as 168 joules, then open the lock and release the hammer. Here you can see the fractured specimen. Enter final reading as 14 joules. This finishes the experiment and repeat the same procedure to find the Izod impact strength of the other materials.
At MSR UAS, we spark your imagination unlike any other.